Okay, so before I start putting decals on, let me show you what I've done so far. I put a gloss coat on all the parts, and I like to use the Vallejo polyurethane gloss varnish. I think it works pretty well, and you can see it's fairly shiny. And the gloss coat, it helps with preventing silvering, protects my paint, and also helps move the decal around. So we're ready for that, and I decided I think I'm going to do this scheme right here. And the reason why I chose that is I already have an F-15 with the Oregon National Guard markings on it, and so I think I'll do this one. This is 67th Fighter Squadron, 18th, I guess it's operational group, Kadena Air Base, Okinawa, Japan, and it has these traditional, typical tail markings, nothing wild and fancy. So I think I'm going to go with this one. So what I need for decaling is, of course, you need some water. I have a little pair of scissors. I got my knife, and I'm going to use some microset. There's a lot of debate about whether this even does anything, but I use it, and then depending on how the decals go on, if they're really thick, I'll use a strong setting solution. So I'll demonstrate that when I start getting this on. So I'm going to start with the vertical stabilizers. All right, so here we go. Well, I made a little change in plans. I'm going to go ahead and do this one because the decals here, you can barely see them on the gray. And so, anyway, well, I'll do the colorful one. That's fine. So let's do, I did this vertical stabilizer, and let me show you how to do this one. And so, okay, so let me get this here cut out. What's that? Now, when your water's warm, it doesn't take long, and it also helps soften the decal. So just set it in here for about 10 or 15 seconds. And I love these reverse tweezers. They're awesome. They help hold the decal. Okay. Set it there. I like to try to get most of the water out. And then I take some microset, just put that all over it. Okay, that one's ready. So it goes right at the very top and along the edge. So if I can't get it off with my finger, and just slide it on. There we go. And it looks like it needs to be moved a little bit. There. And these decals aren't bad. I was very concerned that these are normal Academy decals, and they're pretty notorious for not being very good. I know Academy is putting mostly cartograph decals in their newer kits, which is awesome, but these aren't too bad. So there's that one. And I like to put a little bit of micro set on top of it. Just let it soften the decal. Maybe wait about a minute, and then come back and dry it up. So what I'm going to do now is we'll get this decal on. when I did the other wing, vertical stabilizer, I left the decal number here, left that on there. So I had to like carefully take it off and then cut that part out. So, yep. Just, there we go. Probably shouldn't tear them away. Should make sure it's completely cut. But so I'm going to set it here on the water. Yeah, it's a little lukewarm right now. I need to get one of those fancy mug warmers. Keep your water warm and also keep your coffee warm. So put that on there. Let it set for few seconds, and then you'll see I got quite a bit of solution on here. This is going to go right here. And when you're doing decals, look at your picture. Look for any, if it lines up with any panel lines, and you can see this decal here. These decals, there is a panel line that runs right across there, and it's pretty much a line right up with that. And you can also look here with the eagle's claw, and you can kind of see how high or low it needs to go. So that's what I do. And so here's the panel line right there. And I'm just going to put him right here. Okay. Sometimes I like to try to just get it off let it with my finger. So get your finger wet. Yeah, I have to move it around. So it's about right there, actually. So you see that it's right along that panel line. That's where the bottom of the numbers line up. And I also want to see, so it's pretty close where I have it. So for both wings, so it looks uniform. And then let me take a little bit more solution. I'll put on top of this just to let it. And then while that's working, I'm gonna just take my Q-tip and let's smooth out this top decal. It's got some wrinkles in it, so piece of Q-tip fuzz right there. There we go. Okay, so it's not quite even at the top, so I need to push that around a little bit. Sometimes you just got to put a little bit more liquid on it to get it to move. This one's not wanting to move, so I'll be gentle with it because it'll tear it. Okay, that's close. There we go. I can continue just to smooth it out. Let's smooth these out too. And I just take a cotton swab or cotton bud for you guys across the pond, and I just kind of roll it out. Roll the water out from underneath it. Okay, so I think on these I'm going to use microsol to set them. Now if they're really stubborn and if you have really thick decals, I will use Solvaset, which I think is pretty good actually. So, but I'm going to try this first and see how it works on these decals, and if not, I'll have to come back with some Solvaset. Just put a liberal amount on here. Okay, guys, I am done decaling. That took forever, but there was a lot of stencils on the kit. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't use them all because one of the issues is the decal sheet. Let me find it here. Let's see. Some of the decals are printed in such light color. When you put them on, it washes out. You can't even see them. And like, I don't know if you can. Well, you probably can't see it, but there's a decal here. There's no step decals here, here. They wash out against the gray paint, and so it's very difficult to see. And looking at pictures, you can't really see a lot. You can't really see, you can see the stars and bars on the sides of the fuselage, but they're pretty difficult to see. But some showed up okay. They're there, here. I did fudge. I did make a little mistake on the position of these slime lights here. I didn't have the wings of the vertical or horizontal stabilizers on, so I just kind of lost my point of reference and got in a hurry. They should be back a little bit further, but I'm just trying to head off any rivet counters that might point that out. But yes, I sealed them, and they're not going anywhere now, so I'm just going to leave them where they're at. But they should be, looking at photos, they should be a little bit further back. They really, where they're more visible. Went ahead and put the exhaust on. I gave the insides kind of just dry brushed a little bit with some white gray paint, because that's what you see on the inside of the afterburners. And it's not uniform, so you see this kind of a white grayish areas in there, so I can't really see that very well, so I'll show that later. But overall, I'm happy the way the decals did set down. They did conform pretty well, and so you can see the back here. They conform really nice to the panel lines and raised detail there. And there were tons of stencils, and so look at the missiles. Yeah, I don't know if you can read those. But there's, I'm going to go ahead and use 2 Sparrows and 2 Tomahawks. And here are the Tomahawks, or AIM 9X, I guess. And you can see they had decals with little stenciling on them. Just adds a little bit of life to it. At this scale, I think it may have been overkill, but here are the wing pylons. They also had stencils on them. Okay, on the back there. Okay. Here's the front landing gear door. All right. And I went ahead and I painted a little bit of stuff, and looking at pictures, these top, whatever these are, were white. And I think these bottom ones were red lights. And so I'm going to paint the lights. I usually do that at the very end so it doesn't wash out with varnishes and stuff. But of course you got a red light here and a green light here, and also in the middle, right here on the wings, there's red lights. So I'll paint those at the very end. I also need to add the probes. And again, I do those at the very end. I don't want to break those off. So what I'm going to do now is give everything a coat of Vallejo's polyurethane satin varnish, because I want to use, I want to basically make a dark, kind of a dark gray wash, so it's not really stark, but it would highlight the panel line. So I'm going to use some clay-based wash, and I found that clay-based washes do better with satin varnish. They stick a little bit better. So I'm going to get that done and just give it a little bit of dry time, and come back and we'll do a little bit of weathering, and then I'll put all the remaining pieces on, which of course are landing gear. And we got those wheels and tires all glued on. I need to do a little bit of add a little bit of wash around on the landing gear, give it a little, a little dirt, make it pop a little bit, and we'll put everything on, and that'll be it. I was going to show you these two. The drop tanks also had stencils, and so where's that one? But yeah, it took many hours, guys, doing these little decals, and that's the problem. One of the issues with modern fighter jets is you get tons of decals and stencils, and again, at 172, I don't know if it might be just a little bit of overkill, but I went ahead and put them on, most of them anyway. Again, I fudged. And overall, I think it's coming together okay. It hasn't been my favorite model to build so far, but I stuck with it, and I'm going to get it done. So, all right, I'll see you in a few minutes. Bye. All right, everybody, so I put the satin varnish on, and I'm going to put a wash on, and I'm going to use, well, first of all, I want a dark gray wash. I don't want like really all black or really stark. I just want to do kind of a light gray, and so I'm going to use a combination of black Flory wash and light, and that way it'll give me a little bit of a gray mix. And so I'm going to pour some of this into this little cup. Don't use very much right now. And let me see what this looks like. Still pretty dark. That might work. Let me see. So I'm going to do one wing and let it dry and come back and see, and we'll take it off and see what it looks like. So all you do is just slather it on. And I like subtle weathering. I don't do a lot with chipping and all that stuff. Just make things a little, I guess I kind of like things a little clean. But this will bring out some of the panel lines. Provide a little 3D effect. Alright, so I think I'll do that. And oop. Nice thing about this stuff is it wipe it right off if you don't like it. So I think I'll just leave it right there, and then I'll come back when it's dry, clean it off, and see what it looks like. If it's if it accentuates the panel lines a little bit, give it a little bit more depth. So let's just, all right. I usually let it dry for about 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, just so it clings to the panel lines. And then we'll come back and see what it looks and compare weathered, non-weathered. So, all right, so let's see what this looks like. So it's dry. Just take a little damp paper towel, maybe And just carefully wipe it off. And you want to go in the direction of the airstream. That way you don't remove it. If you go like this, you're going to take it out of the panel line. So, and let's see here. Some thick areas. Some areas here where sometimes you gotta take a little Q-tip too, so to get in some nooks and crannies. Right, so you can see on camera, I like that. So if you can tell, maybe you can definitely see the panel lines here. Okay, here's the weathered side, or at least washed, and the unwashed side. So I think I like this color, this gray mix I made up. And there are some places where you got to come back with a Q-tip. It gets kind of, you get little spots here and there. But the thing about it too, you kind of get a streaking effect in some areas. You can just leave those, like here. But yeah. And that's the nice thing about using a semi-gloss varnish, is it sticks really well. I've had this stuff come off almost too easily with a gloss varnish. So Mr. Flory himself, he says to use a satin varnish. So that's what I did. And so you can see it does, it's not perfect, but it does, you can see the panel lines, and like there's a couple spots where I might need to add a little bit more, maybe right in here. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the model with this and get it all cleaned up and start putting on the rest of the pieces, and we'll be done. All right. Okay, so I've got everything washed, and then I resealed it with another coat of satin varnish. And now all I have left to do is put all the little bits and bobs on. I got to do the missiles. Got to put the hard points on. Get those assembled. Put all the gear doors on, and I have the landing gear as well. So I went ahead and assembled those. Gave it a little bit of some grease staining around the struts, and I just used some of this stuff here, this panel line color. It works okay, and get those installed. And there's the front landing gear. Now, we'll get it all installed and it will be done, but I'm pretty pleased the way it's come out. Being a kit that I probably won't build again. I had some weird fit issues and didn't like the decals that much overall anyway, but there we go. So let's get it done, and we'll take a look and see what it looks like at the end. All right, I got everything on. I did not like the way the canopy sat, so I had to put a little bit of water-based putty and repaint some areas, so it doesn't look very great, but it wouldn't sit flush. So I think I'm gonna already call this done. Painted the little lights on the wingtips and the lights on the front of the wings. They're both red. I looked at pictures, so I thought maybe one was red and one was green, but they're both red. So, and there's also two lights on the back. Watch where you grab. This light here is red, and this light here is kind of like almost a yellowish. It's hard to see, so when they take off they're both lit up, and this one's almost like a really light red or dull red. I'll just paint it. I just put some yellow on it, but there she is. Like I said, it wasn't a great kit, and I'm just kind of glad to be done with it. It's hard to see. Go. the two probes on. I think one's a pitot tube and one's a angle of attack probe, I believe. But other than that, I mean, it was it's one of those kits you kind of just stick with and you can get it done. Okay, well, I'm going to take a few pictures and I'll have a few slides for you, and at the end I'll have some other videos that I suggest you watch if you don't mind, and you can click on the end screens. And if you haven't already subscribed, please give me a sub and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. I do appreciate it. My goal is eventually have YouTube fund my hobby. That would be awesome. But there she is, Academy 1/72 scale F-15C. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next build. Take care and hang on for the slideshow.